All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest, Hope, you're a second-time guest on the podcast. I made my way to the Los Barriles office. Was it maybe 2 years ago that we did this?
Yes, just about.
And it was with your husband,
Yes.
Brian, and he's in the back of the room, not in front of the camera, because today's podcast is talking about an event that we did talk about on the first podcast. Can you tell everyone about that?
Sure. So it was in 2023 December, I did a race called De Mar a Mar. And so it was the second year they'd done it. It starts on the Sea of Cortez on the beach, just in front of one of the hotels here in Los Barriles. And then it's a 3-day event. So there's 3 stages. You run the first day to San Dionisio. Second day, you run over the Sierra de la Laguna mountains. Third day, you run to the Pacific Ocean and finish on the beach there.
So you did this in 2023, and last year you didn't do it.
No.
Okay. And you're not a stranger to endurance running, long distance type races. Give everyone a background.
Sure.
Yourself.
Sure. So I was a competitive swimmer growing up, swam through college, took a little break after college, a lot of swimming. And so started dabbling in triathlon, which grew into building up to Ironman, did about 10 of those. And then my loving husband, who's very supportive, asked me to take a break. And so I took a break, and then I was just kind of looking for the next thing. And living in Mexico, you can swim in, the sea, but there's no pools and there's jellyfish. Biking here can be a little sketchy. And so running for me was a natural thing, trail running.
And you've been coming to the area for how long?
So we bought our first place in 2016, but we moved here completely in 21 when my husband retired.
And in 21 to now, 2025, you're here how often throughout the year?
So we're here usually most of the year, I'd say 9 months. We like to leave in the summers. I still work. I work as a nurse practitioner, so I go up to the States. Really enjoy that, and it's a little cooler there. We typically go up to Oregon. And then my husband and I love to travel, and so that's what we do in the summers.
So as a nurse practitioner, you can pick your hours, times that you want to work. Is that like because you're a contractor or?
That's exactly what I am now. I started as a travel nurse, but a nurse practitioner. My husband was in the military, and so we were stationed abroad in Europe, and so I still wanted to work, so I would come back to the States to work, and I just built some great relationships with some hospital systems, so I go up there now and work as a contractor.
It's interesting because a lot of people that I meet, they have those kind of arrangements where they own their own business or they're contractors or they can work remotely, and it affords them the opportunity to live in beautiful places like Los Barriles or somewhere else in Baja Sur and still go home, whether it's Chicago where I'm from or for you in Oregon.
Yes, we don't own anything in Oregon, but with the job, it comes with housing, so it works out incredible.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. So getting back to the race, it's called De Mar a Mar. So from sea to sea in Spanish. When was the race first started?
So the first race was in 2022, so the year before I did it. They had a little sign up on one of the fences of one of the hotels, and I saw it, and I told Brian, "There's this race. We have to go up and go see it." And so we went up to El Coro, one of the little towns that they run through, and I told him, "I have to do this next year."
Yeah. And what time of the year is this race?
It's first weekend in December.
Okay. And is it international or is it mostly locals that are participating?
They've had athletes from about 10 different countries. The main amount of athletes are from mainland Mexico. But from, it's getting more and more international. It started with, I think, 200 athletes the first year, and it is going to be about 800 this year.
Really?
They actually they're having two start dates. So one, they're going to have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Is it gonna be the same course that you ran 2 years ago?
Just about, I was running the other day, I'm pretty stoked, they're starting to put up the little, flags,
Mhm.
and so I know the course pretty well the first day because that's our backyard, this is where I live.
Right.
There's just a few little changes that I've seen so far.
In distance-wise, over the 3 days, how many kilometers or miles will you travel?
So the first 2 days are about 35, 36 kilometers, which is about 22 miles a day. Um, Big thing on the first 2 days is the elevation. You have an elevation gain of about 6,000 feet on the first day and about 6,900 feet on the second day. But if you
Wow.
go by what my GPS watch said, it's about 1,000 more. So I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah. So it's like you hear about in Denver, the Mile High City, right?
Yes.
So you're doing more than that each day.
So the best comparison that I have found is most people know the Grand Canyon, there's a hike called rim to rim. You start at one side, you go down, and you go back up. So distance-wise, it's just under 24 miles. So we're doing 22 miles, but we're doing 1,000 more feet elevation gain and loss each day. And the Grand Canyon has, it's maintained trails. Here it's, you know, bur bur burrow trails, you're bushwhacking, it's just loose rock.
So what are you bringing in terms of equipment to be able to traverse this kind of terrain?
A good question. So they have a mandatory gear list, which is pretty small. I bring water, I bring nutrition, first aid kit. I bring my cell phone, even though there's no cell service for most of it. I bring a little Garmin InReach satellite communicator, just because. And then that's about it.
Are there stations in between point A and B each day?
They've got aid stations. Some of them, they had to bring the stuff in by horseback because can't get to it by car, but the aid stations were great. They've got water. They had tomatoes with tahini, which were delicious. You don't think about
Tomatoes and tahini.
you don't think about it, but they were incredible.
And how many of these stations are in between each points?
I would say there's probably maybe 4 or 5.
And you're carrying water and a first aid kit, a Garmin,
Yes,
and that's it?
pretty much.
I mean, it's pretty sunny, it's hot, so sun gear, like hats.
I wear a hat. I wear a short sleeve shirt, because it's gonna be cooler then. It's a little warm here now. And then shorts, and I do wear, short gaiters because there is a lot of loose dirt that will go in your shoes.
Okay, yeah. And, what did you learn in 23 that you're gonna implement this year and have a better race?
So nutrition is so key. I mean, the second day was hard. I mean, the elevation just kills you in that amount, and it took me 8 hours on the second day. And so you have to take in nutrition, and it's really hard to take in calories, be aware of that. So I try to take in about 2 to 300 calories an hour, and I use
How?
gels.
Gels,
I
okay.
use gels, I use a carb powder mix I mix with water. Um, Gummy nerd clusters are delicious.
So candy,
Candy and instant mashed potatoes.
instant mashed potatoes, how do
Yeah.
you just mix it with
You
water?
put some of the powder in there and a little bit more water, and you have no idea how delicious those are.
No,
3
I
hours into an event.
but you're consuming this at the aid stations or whenever you
I
feel?
carry it.
Okay.
I carry the powder so that I can mix. They'll have water at the aid stations, and I can just mix more water into my nutrition, so that way you're not carrying as much water.
When you did it the first time, did you run into any close calls because your nutrition wasn't dialed in?
So the close call was it was a slugfest. I just, was in a caloric deficit and felt like absolute crap, and now I know why. Well, plus the elevation.
And that was day 2 when it was like 8 hours?
Yeah, yeah, and the
So, how many times are you actually walking versus
no, that's a fair
running?
question.
And
Yeah.
because with the elevation, I can't imagine you can run that.
No, I cannot. There are people who can. There's some, people from the Tarahumara tribe who come over and do this event, and then they're just incredible. There are people who did this event, finished it in 10 hours. It took me
All 3
not
days?
totals, it took me 19 hours. And
And
so
that
I can't run it, but they can.
that group, is that the group that runs like not barefoot, but
Yeah,
like with
in the sandals,
in
in
sandals?
the Copper Canyon.
And will they do that in this race?
So, when in '23, there were 3 of them that came, and the male who came did it in sandals.
Really?
Yeah,
And he finished it like in 10 hours.
yeah, he got 2nd.
He got 2nd.
Yeah.
How many people participated that year?
I think it was about 250. 250 signed up. I think 220 actually showed up on race day, and just about that finished. Last year, they had 250 sign up, and I think only 180 finished. I mean, it was
Any point in 23 that you thought you weren't gonna complete it?
when it's point to point, you gotta get there. So the 3rd day I woke up and my knee really hurt and I couldn't bend it, and I'm like, "I don't know what this is gonna look like." But, you get up, you eat some breakfast, you have a little ibuprofen, and I'm like, "Alright, let's go."
How is it that you're able to do this at your age? I mean,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
pretty
no, similar.
similar,
No,
like in
yeah.
our 50s,
Yeah, I'm
right? So,
52. I've been an athlete my whole life. I really believe staying active is the key. I have a coach. I train smart. I follow what she says. She's 62 and she just did a 100-mile race. So, I mean, she's incredible. And so you just how you eat an elephant one little bite at a time. So I've been training since April.
how did you find this coach?
So I've even through my triathlons, I like having a coach, and so I did some research, found a handful, called, did interviews, and I know this one just felt like the right one, and she scares me a little, so I like a
And these are coaches that are remote. You just
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
she's out of
connect.
Boulder.
Okay. Have you ever met her in person?
No,
That's amazing.
yeah.
And you've been working with her for how long?
Since about April.
All right. And before that, who were your coaches in terms of endurance,
So
Ironmans?
when I did Ironman, we lived in Portland. There was a triathlon club, and some of the people who ran the club were coaches, and so I just trained with them, and it worked well for me. And then, obviously, in swimming, you're on a swim team. And the last in 2023, I had a coach who was fantastic. But this time, I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive in my training, and so I tried someone else.
How long do you think you'll do this for?
Ooh, well. Depends on how my husband feels about it.
You have the hard job though. Right? Could just be the cheerleader
I
in the
love it.
background.
It brings me joy. I love training. I love getting out there. I love how I feel. I love at the end of the day being sore and tired. I love being able to eat whatever I want.
Hmm. Do you do is that only when you train or it's all the time that you can kind of let your diet be more
I eat healthy by choice. It's just now any food I can put in my face hole. Like the other day I ate like half a thing of pickle, half a jar of pickle. I consume food right now.
that is pretty cool. Does Brian do the same? That's I mean that could be dangerous, right? For the spouse that
Yeah.
isn't training.
I never have leftovers in the fridge,
Okay. All right. So you do
and he
okay.
puts hot sauces on everything, so I can never eat his leftovers. It's not fair.
I think that what you said about you loving the training, it's loving the process
Yes.
and not necessarily finishing the race, but it's every day doing that. And that I know is true not just in athletics and your physical well-being, but also professionally and everything else life serves you,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
it's like driving the Baja. You guys ride the Baja every year, right?
Yes,
Right?
at least once.
So it's like, yeah, you could fly down. You're driving down in most people's mind to get from point A to point B, but you can enjoy that journey,
Oh,
right?
to add to that, this year, when we were in the States for about 4 months, and I'm like, "Hey, let's get a little teardrop camper and boondock on the way down," and Brian's like, "Sure." So we went and bought one that week, and that's what
Oh,
we
really?
on the drive down, we went to places we'd never been, off the beaten path, and boondocked.
That's awesome. How many days or weeks did it was that trip?
So just from a timing standpoint, we took like 8 days,
Mhm.
but it was incredible.
Cool. That's cool. What are the dates for this year's De Marama?
Yeah, so I'm doing the first, group, which will be Thursday, December 4th, then the 5th and 6th, and then the second group starts on that Friday.
So from Los Barriles, the start point is how far from here?
From here, just, I don't know, I don't even think it's a mile away. I mean, we
Okay.
can see the start from our house. It's in
Wow.
front of
Yeah.
Palmas.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to start there. And then the first stop, 22 miles in, you're going to go 6,000 feet, you
Yeah,
say, in
yeah,
elevation?
mhm.
And the town or the area that you?
So it's called Rancho San Dionisio.
Mhm.
It's actually if you go to Santiago, it's a half an hour past Santiago, and, they have tents set up, and they make dinner, and they have showers.
Oh, you get to shower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they take a bag of your stuff, so you have clean clothes every day.
Oh, nice. That's
The
nice.
I'm not sure I could do it in the same clothes over 3 days.
Yeah, that would be rough. And then you wake up whenever you want to wake up, or you have to wake up at a certain time to
So
start?
the race starts at 7 a.m. the first 2 days, and so you just the excitement. I mean, there's 400 people sleeping in tents, and the tents are so close that sometimes the other person you're spooning with the person in the tent next to you, they're so close.
Mm.
So you just hear people moving, you
Uh-huh.
wake up,
Uh-huh. So you get up
get up.
before the sunlight,
Yeah,
sunrise?
yeah, and then you just do whatever you pack up, your sleeping pad, your sleeping bag, you get into what you're gonna wear for race. They supply breakfast or you can bring your own, you eat some stuff, and you line up at 7 and the gun goes off.
How do they track the time? Because it's over 3 days, is it a monitor?
So, yeah, you wear a chip on your ankle, and so when you start, because there's so many of us, there's a monitor at the start place, and so whenever you cross that mat, your timer starts, and they have the same at the finish line.
So it finishes on the Pacific side,
Yes.
near Todos Santos, right?
There's a place, El Faro,
Uh-huh.
so that's where the finish is. It's the last miles on the beach. It's just brutal. It's flat, but brutal.
Because you're running on the sand.
Uh-huh.
How many miles would
I
you
I
say?
mean, you can see it, but you just don't get it, and you just it doesn't matter how long you run, it doesn't get closer, but you can see it.
What are you looking forward to eating that last day when you cross the finish line? What's Brian gonna have for you?
I'll be honest, you just don't wanna eat,
Really?
or you want salt.
You do want salt.
Yeah, you want salt, but you're usually not like, the days I do my long runs, I just don't eat a lot. I have to eat every 2 hours, but it's just a little bit. The next day, everything goes in my face hole.
That's awesome. If anyone wants to track the race,
Mhm.
how could they do that if they're not here?
So, the race when I did it in '23, there wasn't a way to track Brian, my husband, on Facebook, uh, or I think they're gonna use a different timing system that you can track. They have a great website, it's De Maramar, and they have that information available, just preliminary, so they don't have the details yet.
And then if they're here, how could they witness it? Like,
Yeah, fair enough. So we start on the beach in front of Palmas Hotel,
mhm.
which is incredible. It's a lot of energy. From here, the way we run, if you go up to El Coro, that's the first aid station, and so that's an excellent place to go to see us. After that, you really can't get there even in side-by-side vehicles.
And that's what you were talking about. If you can't finish, you kinda
They have a sweep, like the last people who are walking through, and they'll pick up any.
I was listening recently for the second time, David Goggins' second book, right? And he was talking about, I can't remember what race it was. It was one of those 100 to 200-mile race,
Oh, yeah.
and the problem is when he stopped on one race and he couldn't finish, he still had to get back down. And so it was still 10 miles or whatever. And I think he was having like his body was shutting down
Yeah,
and it was crazy. So your health and your safety is really at risk sometimes.
it is. I mean, that's you gotta be smart with hydration and nutrition.
Cool. Well, Hope, good luck.
Thank you.
We're cheering for you.
Thank you so much.
And if any of you are interested, Demar Amar, you could go to their website. So the comments, there'll be the information on Facebook to track the race at the beginning of December. Thanks, Hope.
Thank you.
All right. And until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.